Hi everyone, it's nice to see you here again. I'm sure you can't wait to start modeling cool stuff, so I have good news for you. We will begin actual design sessions from this tutorial. So today we will be dealing with sketch tools, and in so doing, we would cover 2D sketch, 3D sketch, line, adding relations to your entities. By entities I mean the sketches that you create. Okay, so if you do not know anything about planes right now and the user interface, I strongly recommend you check the previous videos before this to get yourself well acquainted with them. It is important because they are critical for smooth flow and easy understanding of what we will deal with in subsequent editions. Alright, so to today's topics, we'll begin with sketch. As shown in the previous video, there are 3 ways to begin a sketch. Either we begin by clicking the sketch icon up here, within this ribbon, and then selecting your desired plane like this. I've selected the sketch and then I choose my plane. Or you select your plane first. You select the plane first and then click on sketch. So to select the plane, you right click and then this pops up. So click on sketch and then you have your sketch plane active. Or discard and exit. Assuming your plane was already on, you are also allowed to select your plane from within your model space by right clicking on it and clicking on sketch. Okay, so the truth is whichever way you decide to use is accepted. None of the methods supersedes the other in any way, as long as you select a plane and then you select your sketch. Okay, you can go ahead and try this out as I go on. Alright, explaining the conformation center. I'll begin a sketch right now. This top plane. So this is where we call the conformations corner. We have the X and we have this symbol that looks similar to the sketch symbol we had there. So if you notice here, it's written exit sketch. Is also what we have here. So now that we have begun a sketch, this icon is used to confirm changes made to your sketch, and at the same time exit from the sketch too, as it's written here exit sketch, while this is used to discard the changes that you have made to your sketch. So in the meantime, to explain this, I would introduce to us the line tool. Select my line tool from here and notice that we have a drop down where we have center line, midpoint line. So we just go with normal line for now, and then I'll draw this. Okay, so now I've drawn a very simple sketch, and you can try to draw yours also, and when you're done, check on this. And so right now I'll try to exit the sketch by accepting it. Let me hide this top plane, right clicking and clicking on hide. Now if you notice that the sketch I just drew is here on my model space, and then you'll be able to see that this is sketch 4. Selecting this now is showing this. It's showing sketch 4 because I've drawn previous sketches and I deleted them. So just do not bother if yours isn't showing sketch 4. Okay, so now there's something else. Now that we've done a sketch, what if I made a mistake to the sketch I created? And so I want to edit the sketch. I don't need to draw a new sketch or delete this one. So what to do is I right click this sketch, and then we have edit sketch. With this you'll be able to navigate back into the very sketch, create your changes. So I make this normal to my screen. Remember I said you should go back to the previous classes if you do not understand the view orientations. So go back to the previous video and you get the tutorials there. Okay, so with this now, I pick a line and add lines this way. Right click, select. Okay, remember what I said. This is used to accept the sketch and the editings that you have made to the sketch, while this is used to discard changes. So to accept this roof looking lines, I select on exit sketch. Now you notice that these entities have been added to the sketch, still inside the same sketch, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and try to use the discard. Edit sketch, make it normal to my screen once again, and this time around I pick up the line and I do something like this. Okay, and then this time around I choose this discard changes to the sketch, and I select yes, discard and exit. Now you notice that the changes I just made to this sketch do not show. This sketch wasn't updated with those new changes I made. So let's always remember, sorry, that your X is to discard your exit sketch properly, just to add the changes I have made. This isn't actually very difficult. I believe that everybody already understands that. Okay, so leaving the first sketch to rest. Let's leave this sketch already to get tired. So let's create a new sketch. Okay, I'm joking, but let's just create a new sketch. I go back to this sketch, select a plane on which to create a sketch for the entity. I will not be saying this anymore because so I expect us to get the hang of that. So I select this time around front plane, and I make it normal to my screen. Control 8 as a shortcut. Okay, so please take note, I said creating a new sketch, and if you check here, you see that there is sketch 4, which is the sketch we created before on the top plane, while this is sketch 5, this sketch that I'm about to begin working on right now. Okay, so I would like us to know something. Let me exit this first of all. I'd like us to know something, that it is very important for us to rename our sketches for easy identification when you need to make edits. So it's not a proper habit to just leave it as either sketch 1, sketch 2, sketch 3, sketch 4. So just so you have ease of identification. Well, I don't usually edit my sketches every time, because it makes my work go like in slow motion. I don't mean my system goes slow, but it like slows me down. So, but the bad part of that is that for me to make an edit to a sketch, I have to keep scrolling, and sometimes I have to open the sketch to know if that's the particular sketch I am supposed to edit or so. So, however, it is good practice to always rename, so I recommend that you do that always. So you can click on this and click on it, yeah. So when you see this, you just click on trial 1, and I click out. Okay, so just click on it, click, and then you're able to change it. So it's actually important to always keep that practice. Good practice is good practice, no matter who doesn't do it or not. Okay, um so I want you to always do this. uh okay, probably you get tired of it, so do it often, or as much as you can till you can no longer bear it. All right, so I'm serious now. Just make it a habit to do so. Okay, so now I was going to create another sketch, a new sketch, yeah. So I create a new sketch and I select my front plane this time around. And this time I'm going to continue using the line tool, and I'm going to draw a perfectly accurate rectangle and also a accurate square. So this is my rectangle. Very perfect, right? Yeah. Please put your hands together for me. Alright, so I just draw a square. Control it. I hold my control key and pan with my scroll. So I draw a perfectly accurate square. Yeah. Isn't this awesome? Such perfect square and rectangle. Alright, if you're wondering that what's wrong with this guy, let me save you right now. This is where we talk about adding relations. Adding relations. Relations are properties that define our sketch entities and how they relate to other entities. So I begin this way. Exit this line 2. I select this top line, and you notice line properties. Existing relations is empty here, and so we have add relations, horizontal, vertical. So this doesn't look horizontal, it's slanty, so I select horizontal for that, and you notice the change it made. So likewise, I can select this and say this should be vertical, and that's very easy, right? So if I said to change this one also, I should just select vertical, right? But instead, I think I'll prefer to use another kind of relation. So I hold my control key and click on this. If this is supposed to be a rectangle, then there's supposed to be a relationship between this line and this line, and the relationship is going to be that they should be parallel to each other. Now let us note that this already has a relation of being vertical, so this would not overwrite this. So by the time I select parallel, this doesn't have an existing relation, so automatically this line becomes parallel to this. Yep. Okay, so I do the same with this. Select and control, select, and I say parallel. Yeah. Okay, so now this is really nice. Okay, so go to this now. I think this is not vertical, so I select vertical. Yeah. And you know, for a square, all sides are equal, right? So what do? I select this, control select, and say all sides be equal. Okay, now this doesn't mean that this is perfectly horizontal, so I can still come here and select horizontal. Alright, so right now we have a perfectly accurate rectangle and a perfectly accurate square. So the add relations can be used in any way, but let us take note that there are limits to the number of relations you can put to a particular entity. So like this is horizontal, it cannot also be vertical, right? Doesn't make any sense. So I select that and just click on delete that particular vertical relation. So we can place relations between all of our entities, and also I would like to place a relation between this and this, and let's make them to be on the same line. I've selected this and I select this. Now we have the relation here collinear, and notice I selected this first, then this second, so that was the reason why this came down to be with the same line as this. Okay, so let's create another line, not another sketch, another sketch entity. Okay, so I want to make this vertical. I can do that here. Alright, and then if I select this, let's say I want to make it perpendicular. Oh, it's already perpendicular, so I would remove the relation of vertical, perpendicular, delete all. So let's say this is kind of bent, so now I select this and I select this. Perpendicular means that they'll be at 90 degrees with each other, and since this is already horizontal, it's not going to be altered. So I select the perpendicular, add relations, and then you notice this. Okay, so that's your add relations. You can also decide to say I select you and I call you fixed. Fixed simply means you would not be able to move it anymore. You see this? Think an icon cannot drag the selected item is fixed. So that's that. Okay, so I'll delete this fixed. Check this. Okay. So now there are different types of lines which we saw here. You have a center line and the midpoint line. They're not really difficult to understand. So let me exit the sketch. And so let me say this is tryout 2. And this is time consuming. Okay, so sketch, and probably let me hide both of them. Right click and hide. Okay, so I create a new sketch. On what plane? Click on this and I select my top plane. I press Ctrl 8 to make it normal to my screen. Alright, so types of lines. We're already accustomed to this, which is just a straight line. And also I would like to give us this hint. If you notice while I'm drawing this, there's a yellow icon showing close to my screen. If I move upward, it disappears. When I bring it downward, it appears again. So that works like a snap that helps to detect if your line is horizontal or not. So taking it up surely means it's not horizontal, but bringing it down, you notice the degree is 180 degrees. If I come this way also, it gives an icon that represents vertical, and the degree there is 90 degrees. So that also helps us to draw vertical and horizontal lines. So this is a normal line, and then the line keeps coming up that way until you press escape or select, right click and click on select, so it leaves the line too. Okay, so also go to center line, and then I draw this. Just the same way the normal line works is also the way this center line works. Select. That's nice, right? And then thirdly we have midpoint line, and the midpoint line means the first point I select is going to be the middle of the line, and then while I move, it stretches out on both sides. So that's our midpoint line. Select. Okay, so one thing is, what about if I've already drawn the line to be a normal thick line, whereas it was supposed to be a construction line? So I can select on the line, I can click on this convert to construction geometry, or I select on the line and then come here and click on for construction. Notice this, if I want to revert it, I can click on the line and uncheck the for construction, and we see this. Okay, also if I can click on this line and I want it to be of infinite length, I don't think anybody will need this for now, so I can also do that. So that's actually nice if you are going to use it for construction purpose, and an infinite length and also a construction line. So I change this from being a construction line. I can't just change this from being infinite right now because the line would not, Solidworks would not be able to identify where to break the line. Okay, so let me just select this and delete, and then just draw. Let me just leave it. Alright, so these are the line tools, proper normal line tools that we have. Also, if you notice when I selected my line tool, it shows as sketched here. So this simply means that the line goes in whatever direction that I choose it to go, because it is as sketched. If I come back to line tool and select horizontal, I draw my line, no matter where I go, it sticks to being horizontal. So also the same with vertical. I draw my line, no matter where I go, it sticks to being vertical. Okay, and then let's see lastly angle. So here we have to give it the length and the angle. However, in SolidWorks you are not mandated to create your lines and then give them the dimensions immediately. So they do this for a very for the simple reason that it slows down the work. I can assure you, it slows down your work. So they allow you to just, the software allows you to just draw your sketch, and then later on you come and do your dimension, and the sketch entities just change and adapt to the dimensions that you pick. Okay, so now that we've done this, pretty cool, right? Yeah, but then we have something which is even cooler than this, and that is we have our 3D sketch. Okay, so the first thing you need to know when creating 3D sketches is that you don't need a plane. And that sounds odd because I said that you need a plane before. Okay, I think I actually said you don't need a plane with the previous video when doing your 3D sketch. So you can select this drop down and click on 3D sketch. But be aware that this is not the usual method for creating sketches, so it shouldn't be your default method. However, sometimes they come in really handy. So to begin, okay, notice this, that selecting the 3D sketch, I am not inside an active sketch right now, right? So I can select this also and hide. I click on this drop down, select my 3D sketch, and then just like the other, I have to go up to select the tool I want to use. So here I'll be using line again. Okay, and I select this. Okay, so let me just try to rotate this for us to know what we're doing. So to alter between your planes, the thing is your 3D sketch creates planes for you without you creating the planes. There are 3 primary planes: your top plane, your right plane, and your front plane. So you are able to interchange between the planes by selecting on your tab button on your keyboard. So you've noticed the cursor is showing XY, and the arrow here, the coordinate system here, is showing active X and Y relation to this. If I click on my tab again, now it's showing YZ on my cursor, and also the YZ axis is active. So click on tab again, also the ZX, which is the top plane, is active. So right now we are just going to draw a very simple sketch, and it's going to be a sketch of a table. So I will do this. I select my line tool again, tab, okay, yes, escape, line 2, if you're wondering how I was able to get my pencil on my line 2 without going to click on the icon, pressing on enter gives you the previous 2 that you just used. Okay, so now I did all of this without even rotating my model space whatsoever. But now if I rotate, now you'll be able to see this. That's cool, right? So this is supposed to be a table. Doesn't look like much, but it is. So I would also let's say draw from the center point of each line to connect, just for strength purposes. So also come here and come here and come here. Alright, it's possible that you were not able to get this correctly, so I want you to know that it takes keen eyes, sharp minds, and concentration not to get confused when using this. Actually, I believe we can all handle this, but if it is confusing, just take your time, pause the video and get it right to understand your sketch, to understand the planes that you are currently working on, and then always remember to click on your tab to change your planes to the desired plane you want to draw on. Okay, so also we can add relations to all of this. So I would say let this be an isometric view. Yeah, so if this is supposed to be like a rectangular table, this should kind of be straight. So I'm taking a cue from this coordinates triad here. I want this line to move perfectly along this axis, the Z axis, going this way. So I've selected the line and I click here along Z axis, right? So I want this line to move perfectly along the X axis, and I click along X axis. I noticed there was a shift, so I want this line to be perfectly again along the Z axis, and I click on this, and this I want to be along the X axis, and I click on this. Okay, now the thing is, this looks somehow like a square top, but I want a rectangular top. So let's say I drag this, yeah, and that makes better sense. Note you can also use the relations of equal by pressing Ctrl and then coming here to select all of this, just the same way we used with the proper line or with the normal line. Okay, so this should be on the Y axis, along the Y, and then I want all of this to be, I want these two to be parallel to each other, so I press Ctrl and click on this. I also want them to be equal, and note the change in the distance, and this became longer. Okay, so I also want this to be equal to them, so I select equal. I also want this to be equal to them, so I keep my Ctrl key and press equal. Now they are all equal to each other, right? And then I select this line and this line I want it to be on the Y axis because I don't know. Okay, it's already along the Y axis. I also select this line, it's already along Y. Okay, so now with this we've been able to create a 3D sketch without the use of planes directly, and also we've been able to add relations. So what we learned into this tutorial is using the sketch tool, using the 3D sketch, using our line tool, and also adding relations. Okay, so the same way you add your relations, you can just select your line entity and then go over and say delete the relation. So you can always remove a relation also. Alright, so this is where we stop for now. And in the next video, we will talk about giving dimensions to your sketches. Alright, I would like you to take out time to practice what we have learned today. And if you have questions or comments or complaints, please drop them at the comment section. I would endeavor to attend to them. If you like this video and enjoyed this class, don't forget to click on the like button and also subscribe to this channel. Do well to click on the notification bell at the top right corner of your screen to be updated when new videos are uploaded. Thank you for sticking with me till the end, and see you in the next video.